We're on.
Troy and Abbott in the morning.
Hello. Welcome to Podditea. Episode 002?
Yes, 002.
Okay.
Hello, listeners.
Hello. I'm the only listener. I'm responding on behalf of all of my listeners, which is just me. I'm pretty sure that our beta listeners haven't even listened to the whole thing, because I asked one of the beta listeners. I don't know if we should name names, but we sent it to two of our friends to be beta listeners, and I asked one of them like a couple days later, and they're like, "Nope, still haven't listened to it." And then I was gonna be like, "Okay, let's listen to it right now," and I like pulled up the audio file and I played it, and then right then beta listener number 2 came in, and then we were like, oh, we have to go now. So I guess they'll just hear it when we post it. Anyway, yep. let's get back on track. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Nikki?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, good.
Welcome to Podditea.
Hi. Okay, we haven't even said anything yet. We've been talking for like 2 minutes. I'm gonna go to the Google
My
Doc.
name is Janice.
Oh, and my name is Alana.
And it is September.
September 2nd. Janice,
so what does September mean?
September means that pumpkin spice lattes are now in
Wait, are they back?
In Starbucks, yeah. And let me tell you, I was at the Halifax Shopping Centre today. Oh, wait. Janice, where are you?
See, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, I noticed you highlighted it on the Google Doc, and so I was trying to be like, where are you? And then you started asking questions, and I was like, oh, I should answer the questions. Okay, let's just do the where are you bit, and then we'll go back to the questions.
Okay. So everyone, September means Alana has moved far, far away.
Oh, that's what you were trying to say. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Janice, where are you?
Wait, what?
No, I'm trying to do the where are we? Update on where we are.
Oh. I'm still at home.
Okay. You can ask me where I am.
This is just going to be a theme, I think, of our podcast.
Well,
but anyway, Alana, where are you?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. Alana is me. I am in Halifax, and so from my apartment, I'm on the 11th floor, and I can just see the harbor if I like squint and pretend a little. It's actually super cool. I can see like in the night. It looks really cool because you can see like the lights reflected off of the water, which is fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Since Alana said where she is, I'm in my bedroom at my desk.
Oh.
Yay.
Yeah, so I'm in my apartment, also at my desk, but I think I'm going to move my desk because, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. My apartment, I've been here since, today is Saturday, I've been here since Wednesday, like late Wednesday night, and I've made a very few strides in terms of cleaning it up, because I've been doing like a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do we want to talk about?
Let's talk about what tea we have.
Oh, right! Okay. Listen, we're gonna get better
Alana.
at this.
Alana.
Yeah.
What tea do you have today?
Oh man, you're totally co-opting my bit. Okay.
Tea.
Okay, so we're gonna post the pictures of what we're like our tea party, our individual tea parties on the Instagram, but today the tea that I have is a super nice Earl Grey. It's a loose leaf, and it's from Harrods, which is, for all of our British listeners out there, it's like a big thing in England. I don't know, I've never been there, but my parents went to
Harris's?
What?
Did you just say it's from Paris and that it's big
No.
in Britain?
Harrods. It's Harrods.
Oh, that place!
Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 42, Earl Grey loose leaf tea, which my mom brought back from England when she went last.
When was your mom in England?
Like last spring. She sent it to me. She sent it when I was living in Kingston. She sent it to me, like with my like Easter. She sent me like a couple things for Easter, and she sent that along with
Aww.
it. Yeah.
I want a care package.
Well, I also wasn't home for Easter, which is really sad.
True.
So,
that's sad.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm having this Earl Grey tea. I take it with a little bit of milk because I'm like, I don't know. I don't really drink any other types of tea with milk or cream or anything, but Earl Grey, it just seems right. I don't know.
She says this while Janice drinks everything black. Dum dum dum.
Well, I drink like 99% of tea black. It's just...
Oh, I know.
Like, it's just Earl Grey. Oh, also, if you have an herbal tea that's like super sour, then I'll have it with honey. But I don't think any other type of tea really goes well with other stuff. Like, I feel like if you've got a good enough tea, you don't need to add stuff to it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, well, I just drink things black. I just do this because I don't really have a reason.
Janice drinks, like, Americanos and things.
Like, I'll drink cappuccinos and I'll drink, like, lattes and stuff. It's just not my go-to drink.
Would you ever have a pumpkin spice latte? I mean, I know that you can't go to Starbucks, but, like, if you had
I've had a flavored thing that's supposed to be pumpkin spice latte flavored, but I don't know if it's an actual pumpkin spice latte. It was 7-Eleven, like, so probably not an actual latte.
Huh. I didn't know that they had that there.
They had a thing that's supposed to be something like it, but is it actually? Who knows?
Okay.
If you work at 7-Eleven and happen to know the answer, please do share. Thanks, listeners.
Yeah, I have no other comments. Oh, I also made yeah, I'll get through my tea party thing. I also made these cranberry orange scones today, just like a couple hours before we started the podcast, because I don't have like much food here and I really wanted like a nice kind of scone-y kind of thing, because it seems like the right thing to do with a tea party. I feel like now, as we're starting the podcast, I'm like super zealous about like getting everything right and having good like Instagram worthy pictures of it, but as we go along, I'm not sure how long that'll last.
Well, do you know what? Like, this is more for fun for us, right? Like, if we have pretty stuff, that's really cool. But the point of this podcast, listeners, just so you're aware too, we're not trying to, we haven't talked about anything. Like, if one day we become big enough to have to start thinking, do we have ads and get sponsors and stuff?
Yeah, I want to be small enough that we can be self-sustaining. But this is this is a pretty low maintenance podcast. You can tell that it's really, like, probably not that good quality. And we're like, I have to go and like splice the audio together, so we'll see how well that turns out. But it's like doable.
These are the roots, right? Like, this is just the first days. Yeah. We'll see where this podcast goes. So with my tea party, speaking of social media posts, because I took photos, I have Christmas tea, and ingredients for that include Ceylon OP tea, star anise and eyes. Sorry, viewers.
I think it's star anise.
Listeners, star anise, cinnamon, orange peel, rose petals, and natural flavor. I got this from the tea house in London, Ontario. Really yummy. It's a rooibos tea, so I don't think Alana would like it.
Wait, what? Why wouldn't I like it, sorry?
I thought you don't like rooibos.
Oh, no, I don't like rooibos. You're right.
See, there you go. I have this tea, and part of why I chose Christmas tea is because the fact is that I found some cookies in my freezer at home. And they're from Christmas, most likely, and we defrosted them, and they taste really good still. You'll see the photo on social media as well. They're chocolate and peppermint.
Sounds good.
So yeah, and also I'm a little bit sick, so Christmas just sounds really nice right now.
Okay, that's tea talk with Alana and Janice. Okay, what's the next segment? Hello?
I have cookie in my mouth.
Oh, dude, you gotta time it. Because, like, I was like, okay, Janice is gonna say a bunch of words now, so I'm gonna take a bite of my scone.
Obviously, listeners, we are very new to this.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we did that in the first episode when we were together, too. Because I think you just, like, had this big bite of watermelon. It was fun.
Yeah, and also, I like food, and I just end up laughing a lot, usually. When I'm very comfortable with people, I'm very happy. Oh, I had shawarma for the first time yesterday, and it was amazing.
Oh. One time, okay, so beta listener number 1 once...
Yeah, that person took me to it.
Oh, really?
She was driving me home, and then she was like, wait, do you want to get shawarma? And I was like, sure, and then she did a U-turn.
Oh my gosh, where did you go?
Mosi Shawarma?
Where is it? Locationally?
Right across from Laurier.
Right across from Laurier. Is it, like, on University?
Yes.
Is it like that little University Plaza on like University in like Columbia?
With Booster Juice and everything? Yeah.
No, University in King. Yeah, that's where she took me the first time. Like
that's the best.
The first and last
place in
time.
Waterloo, I've been told.
I've never been anywhere else since. That's the only time I've ever had shawarma.
So. Same, but it was so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's September, and as we mentioned, that means pumpkin spice lattes are coming out, but also it means Alana is now in Halifax, and I'm at home. Also, one of my jobs ended, so I'm currently just working a part-time job, which I'm very happy with.
Wait, are you going to say which of your jobs ended?
Okay, so I was working as a content developer for Western University, helping them develop materials for an online course. Mm-hmm. So that job has ended.
Okay.
I'm currently working as a lab manager for Laurier in psychology, and that will continue on until next August. So I currently have that job, and I'm finishing up my graduate certificate program, which is the DISC program.
Right.
I think I might have talked about this in an earlier podcast.
Oh yeah, you did, because I remember editing that one. So you're talking about it in the intro podcast.
Okay. So basically we're at the point right now where we're just focusing on final projects, and then I'll have a graduation ceremony from this program at the end of the month. So it's really interesting. While I'm in school somewhat due to this, and I have a job, but it's very interesting because, as I said, Alana went off to Halifax, and I have other friends who have now or will soon be leaving for their own school terms. I have friends who are also leaving for co-op terms, and I have some people who are coming back from co-op terms for school. But anyway, I digress. The point of this is that I'm hearing a lot of talk about people going away or just going back to school or to work, but through their school program. And it's very odd because I know people who have graduated as well as me, but I know many more who are still in school. So it's interesting because this is also the first year where I'm not going back to school in the fall.
Yeah.
I went from high school to university straight, and I always thought I was going to go to a master's straight after as well.
This is probably like your first, sorry to interrupt, this is probably your first September in like your living memory that you haven't been going to school.
Exactly, because even when I try to think, all the time before kindergarten, I did go to preschool. Fun fact, Alana and I technically went to the same preschool and supposedly met in preschool, but neither of us remember each other from preschool.
Yeah. I think I have like a super, super vague memory of like a little Asian kid, but I don't know if it was you.
I remember very few people from preschool, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably weird. And I like, when I moved, I was like, I kind of don't want to leave people, but I have to, which is kind of sad. But it's also good because I'm happy that I'm doing it. And like when I came to Nova Scotia, can I wait? Like, are you? I don't want to like divert.
No, you can go.
Okay.
This should be. I want this to be a discussion. Like, I want there to be the back and forth, and it to be organic, and not to be like, okay, it's my turn now.
Yeah, I kind of want to just, like, loop the bit where you said this, I want this to be organic, just because I feel like that'd be ironic. I'll make it, like, louder each time.
You should do that. We could auto-tune it later on, like, you know how there's, like, the Hank and John song thing?
Is it Hank and John have got it going on?
It's the Batman. Like, there's a song where they got those other YouTubers who, like, auto-tune everything into songs.
Right, you got Batman entirely wrong. John,
yes!
all bad people. Yeah.
Yes. Also, my verdict on that is that Batman is wonderful.
Yeah, I have no opinions on Batman. And that's the end of that conversation. Okay. So I got into Nova Scotia, like, super late on Wednesday night, and my grandparents were nice enough to come pick me up, even though it was, like, 9:45 p.m.
I was wondering about that. I thought one of your parents was going with you at first, and then I remembered...
No, they didn't even come to the airport with me. Beta listener number 1 drove me to the airport, so that was nice.
I like how that's now her, like, name.
Or his.
Or his, but I like how it's the person's name.
Yep.
Beta listener number 1.
Yep. We have 2 friends.
They may end up as a guest on our show one day.
Oh, true. And then they'll probably be revealed.
Dum dum dum!
So once I got into Halifax, got in super late, my grandparents came and picked me up, and as I was driving back, so the Halifax airport is about 25 minutes away from the actual city of Halifax. And as, like, we were driving back, it was, like, late at night, and I could, like, see all the, like, lakes and trees. It's a very scenic place to be. And, like, I just kind of had a moment where I was like, oh, I live here now, which is weird because my parents are from here, and so I kind of grew up coming here as this is, like, the vacation city. Like, we came here when we were going to visit our family and stuff, and now it's like, this is, like, my home. So it was just kind of a weird moment, but it was like, it's kind of comforting because it's like, this isn't like a new scary thing. I mean, it is a new scary thing in like so many ways, but like also I know my way around. My grandparents are like a super quick bus ride away.
That's good. No, I think I kind of get that. I don't know if you felt this with Kingston at all, but I know for me with London, partially because I spent summers there as well, and I would like go around the city and stuff. London, it's like, oh, this isn't home, but it is home at the same time because I know it enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel more like this is home than Kingston ever felt like home, because Kingston was never really my favorite place to be. So, what else?
Oh, BT dubs, my grandma said I should definitely go visit you when I mentioned I had a friend who moved to Halifax now for her master's.
Yeah, come visit.
She also thinks I should take the train to Manitoba.
No, don't do that. Don't go visit beta listener number 1. Come visit me instead.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you'd be better able to actually like put me up for like a few days, like room wise. You have more room, so
I do.
Also, Halifax, I feel like it's just prettier.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and also I actually know other people in Halifax too.
I mean, okay, this is so not fair because I've never been to Manitoba, but I just imagine it being kind of like a flat desert land, and then
it's got the 100-acre woods.
Yeah, but like, have you ever been to Nova Scotia? Everything is the 100-acre woods. Like everywhere you go, there's just forests and stuff. Anyway.
Oh, so you know how much I like water. I just like water.
Yeah.
So Nova Scotia is better suited for that.
Like, Manitoba is, like, super landlocked. Yep. Anyway. That's just...
And I like seafood.
That's just my plug for, Nova Scotia tourism. They should pay me. This podcast...
Pay us.
This podcast is sponsored by Nova Scotia Tourism.
Give us lobster.
Yeah, you think you can get lobster in a landlocked little, Winnipeg? Probably not. And if they do, it's probably in a can. Have you ever had canned lobster?
That just sounds bad.
It's like the worst. It tastes like paper towels. So I can talk about what my first few days were like.
Tell us what you're doing in grad school and how it's been like there so far.
Yeah, okay. So basically, when I got here, there's a couple different challenges, right? So the first one is finding your way around the city. Luckily, I kind of have that sorted because a combination of having come here for the first 20 summers of my life, give or take a couple, and having Google Maps on my phone, which is really great. I haven't gotten lost yet. So there's that. Navigating the city, that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is grad school is like you just sort of have to figure out what you're doing. At least in my experience. It's not really like people tell you what to do. It's kind of like you just gotta do it. So on my first day, I got in super late Wednesday night. I went to bed at like 12:30 because I had a bunch of stuff to do. And then I had a meeting at 8:30 in the morning, and I had no food at my place. So I had to stop at a coffee shop on my way.
I would also like to note that there is a time difference between Waterloo and Halifax.
Oh, yeah. So the other thing is that it was like waking up at 7 to get to my 8:30 meeting is like waking up at 6 because I'm acclimatized to the Waterloo time. So that was fun. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, at that point, like, you're not sleeping anyway because you're so nervous about the next day. So it's just like, whatever, I get up now or I get up in an hour from now. I don't, like, I can't sleep before stuff like that. I couldn't sleep before, like, I can't sleep before some exams. I can't sleep before my first day at anything. My first day of, like, even, like...
I have to worry about waking up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I worry that I'm gonna not wake up, and so I just don't sleep. I try to, but I just don't.
I worry that I'm going to just, like, not wake up in time, but I have realized if it's something I need to go to, I will wake up. Mm-hmm. But if it's something I need to do and it's, like, just by myself, then I'm less likely to, like, wake up super early to do it.
Yeah, like, another thing, too, is... Sorry, I just ate food. The other thing is that when I know that there's something that, especially in my first day doing something, I'm not going to have a problem being awake, because there's, like, kind of that adrenaline element.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like, I know in my head that I'm not gonna have a problem, but, like, also when you're when you're just, like, obsessing about something, when you're, like, thinking too hard about it, or when there's, like, a whole, like, novelty element to it, then I just can't really sleep. Anyway, This is, like, the longest story ever.
Okay, talk.
Okay, so I get to my meeting. It's a really quick meeting, and then I'm kind of like, okay, give me my project, because I don't have my project yet. So I have a quick discussion with my prof, who is super nice, and he's like, here, I have kind of like a harebrained scheme of, like, an idea.
I love how you just get given projects.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, I mean, for psych, like, they'll have a project idea for you, but when you want to apply for scholarships and stuff, I mean, you probably had this too, but you have to write up an idea for a project, and they want to be like, what do you want to work on? Like, and you have to be like, oh, I read your research, and I've seen you've done this. What if you did this? Etc., etc.
Here's the thing. The reason that stuff is so easy for chemists, especially, like, in the graduate level, like, basically he tells you what to do. You do it, and, like, that's the same thing with, like, I applied for this, and it was, like, barely anything, and then I just got the position, is because nobody wants to do chemistry. That's it. That's the whole thing. There's so few of us. Like, on Tuesday, because it's, like, Labor Day this weekend, so on Tuesday is the first day of, like, my actual, like, school. But on the first week is, like, graduate student orientation, like, just the chemistry department. And
was it, like, O week normally, then?
No, O week was, like, this past week, so, like, classes actually start on the Tuesday. So anyway... I went out to lunch with a couple of the people from my lab group just yesterday because one of the group members was leaving, and I spoke to a couple of them, and they said that for the chemistry student orientation, there's usually only like 10 students total who are joining the chemistry department. So it's that's the key. What you want to do is you want to pick, like, the least desirable major and do it. And then things will just be handed to you because nobody else wants it, and they're like, please join us. So yeah, that's basically been my last couple of days. I had this group meeting. I found out what my project was going to be, and I had no internet in my place, so then I had to go to the internet place and get my internet set up. And then I had grad student orientation. Oh, and here's this is maybe a good segue into the next segment that I wanted to talk about, which is something we both wanted to talk about for different reasons, which is meeting new people is hard.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so...
Absolutely true.
So should I say my thing first, then you can talk about your experience?
Sure.
I'll give you a couple minutes to formulate what you want to say, because I think I have mine.
I think I know what I want to say, but I just, like, ad-lib.
Yeah, me too.
Improv.
Yeah, none of this is written down. We have a Google Doc for all the listeners out there who want to know. We have a Google Doc in front of us, and we have not been following it. We've kind of been following it.
Kind of.
Yeah, in, like,
We're, like, traversing through it.
Yeah, we're, like, if you put a pigeon...
We're making some detours.
If you put, like, a pigeon on top of our Google Doc, it's like a pigeon walking all over the Google Doc. I don't know why that's the first analogy that came to mind.
I like it.
Okay.
I like metaphors.
Yep, so...
Though that was not a metaphor, that was a simile.
Listeners, tell us what the difference between a simile and analogy is. Okay, thanks.
I'm pretty sure an analogy is more like a story.
Really? I thought it was just like providing an analog to the current situation.
Yes.
Anyway, so on Thursday afternoon, Thursday was my first day, on Thursday afternoon, I went to graduate student orientation for all the new graduate students for the school.
Did you guys have to play games?
No, thankfully, because they, I guess, think that we're over that, and rightfully so, because we are.
Yep.
But no, so basically it was just like all, like a couple hundred students, all in like a lecture hall, and then they talked to us for a little while, and then there was like a break, and they gave us cookies, which was nice. But the thing that was super stressful was that during the break, they're like, go out to the courtyard, and out in the courtyard, they had little posters, like, put up on the walls being like in like this area, it's like, I want to talk about nature, and like on the other area, it's like, I want to talk about the upcoming school year, or like, I want to talk about art and music, and you're like supposed to like, I guess, stand under the posters and then like start a conversation, which is a really great idea, unless you're like...
A great idea, but...
It's a good thought, except when you're like me and you're terrified to talk to people. And the other thing, too, is that somehow everyone seems to know each other. Which is... What?
Wait, is there a grad student residence? There is one, actually. I know this because I also applied to Dalhousie, listeners, and there was a night when Alana said I went down deep into the rabbit hole, aka I was looking at clubs I was interested in at Dalhousie, and I was looking at residences and figuring out ideas for meal plans just in case I got in.
Right.
And anyway, that's how I know there's a grad student residence. It's like a house, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so maybe that's how some of them know each other, but it was like weird because I was just like, you know, it's like one of those situations where you just like, it's like in a TV show about the nerd, where you like, you follow, like the camera follows the nerd as she, I guess, takes, you know, the cookie and then walks outside, and then it pans around and all the people are in little groups talking to each other, and then the nerd just kind of is like, what? And then goes on her phone for the next 20 minutes.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's going to be better when there's a small group for the like chemistry version of orientation, but that was just a really crappy kind of thing for me. Anyway, what's up with your experiences, Janice?
Okay, so I would say, first of all, comparatively, I'm more extroverted than Alana is.
Yes.
However, I will say I have my similar moments too, where I'm very much like, ew, new people. And I very much am into like stuff happening organically, like meeting people or just talking to them and having friendships form and like having deep conversations happen.
Oh yeah.
So Alana will point out that there are times when we're with the group and I'm just like, guys, let's have deep conversation.
Which is like the least organic way to have a deep conversation, and yet. Also, like, the thing is that Janice and I and Beta Listeners 1 and 2 have been friends for so long that we just kind of run out of stuff to talk about. Which is why...
Yeah, so we actually have a game that helps us come up with those deep conversations.
Yes. Oh, this is probably not a game that you would maybe want to use to start a conversation with someone.
No, though I feel like it'd be really interesting.
Yeah. It's basically like an extended version of Truth or Dare. It's like Truth or Dare plus other stuff. So
a lot of other stuff, and how we go about with it is kind of different too.
Yeah, so that's for a different episode. So
that's for another time, though.
Stay tuned. This is how we keep our listeners invested.
Yep.
This podcast is really long.
Anyway, so for me, I've moved back home, and like I said, I'm in my old hometown, our hometown, I guess, and I'm staying here. And I still have friends who are in town, but a lot of people have also left, or we've just not fallen apart, but we've drifted. Also, just people are busy. So the thing is, for me, I'm like, okay, I'd like to have more people I'm aware of and stuff to just get to know and to form friendships and just relationships with. Basically, I would like to have more friends and people in my life who I can hang out with in this town.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of friends in different places at the moment, just due to where situations have taken us. So for me, the thing is, I met a lot of people in university, and I found that to be a great way to meet people, just through classes, through seeing each other on campus, through going to the same clubs, like extracurriculars. And now that I'm in my hometown, I'm not in university, it's different to meet new people. Like, a common way would be through work, and I have met new people through work, but they're very much work colleagues. A lot of my work is also done online, so that doesn't necessarily help me meet people. And then I have my program, which is a way to meet people, but it's always the same people. And, like, again, it's very much about organic stuff, and some friendships are forming. Other times there's situations where you're like, we probably wouldn't get to know each other as well if we weren't in this program together. So the thing is, I don't really have that extracurricular option right now. But the thing is, what I'm realizing is that if I want to meet new people, I have to create my own extracurriculars, or I have to put myself out there. Friends have suggested, go work in a cafe and just start talking to people there. It's kind of
I hate it when the advice is just start talking to people. It's like, do you know how hard that is?
Yeah, and the thing is, for me too, that doesn't feel necessarily organic. Like, if it starts like, oh, BT dubs, sure, this seat is free or something, that's different. But I don't necessarily want to just go up to someone and be like, yo, hi, my name is Janice, tell me about yourself.
Hi, my name is Joe.
And I work in a button factory.
That's gonna be like our occasional joke.
Yep. But anyway, so right now I'm having the issue of how do I make friends, except while Alana hopefully will meet people through her chemistry department, and she'll already know, okay, well, you must have done an undergrad and you're interested in chemistry, and you will have the common topic of your chemistry to at least start getting to know people, like, as an excuse or a reason to talk to people.
Yeah.
For me, I have to definitely, like, I'm definitely having to be like, hi, I'm Janice.
Which is, like, literally the worst. Can I just say something?
Yep.
Okay. I have decided that unless I have, like, a specific need to talk to, like, instigate a conversation, I cannot talk to a person. Like, when I was doing the orientation thing, I overheard some people talking about where to get, like, the student card. And then I went up to the person who just received the directions and been like, wait, where do you get your student cards? And that's no problem. Like, I have no problem just talking to someone, because I also need my student card, right?
Yep.
But when it's like, hi, I'm like, no. I don't know. I can't do it. I don't know. I don't know if that was what you were getting at, but that, like...
No, that's what I'm getting at.
Like, even just hearing you talk about doing that, I'm like, I am sorry, because I don't want to do that. And I feel bad.
Yeah, like, it's definitely much easier for me if there's, like, an intention for it, or a good reason, and not the intention just being like, oh, let's get to know a person. Well, you figured out what I'm trying to get at, and I hope our listeners, understand what I mean.
Yeah, this is definitely something that everybody has a problem with. I just feel like for some reason everyone's better at it than me.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
But anyways, like, I know when I think of university, I met people because in first year we were on the same floor, or we were in the same classes.
Oh,
and it's a bit different if it's not, like, necessarily I have to go up to them and be like, hey, I need help with this, but at least I have a starting ground already of this class, or, oh, you're starting university too. And then as the years progressed, I met people, again, through classes, through projects, through wanting to know someone in case I need to borrow notes one day, or if I'm sick one day and I just need to know if there's anything major.
Yeah.
There's projects, again, where you meet people. There were clubs I joined and was an executive of, and then you get to know people because you're working with them to form this committee or that, etc. And sometimes those just remain working relationships, be it for a project, be it for a club, but sometimes those blossom into actual friendships. So, for instance, I was an exec for a club for 1 year, and then I left. But I kept in good touch with this one person, and I'm very glad I did, because that was a friendship that grew out of that working relationship. But there's some where it was definitely more of a working relationship, and we were cordial after I left, etc. And it's not like we're not fine, but we're not close.
Yeah.
That happens. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to keep interrupting.
No, go.
I don't know if this is related, but this is just like this episode's gonna just be Alana complains about people. Okay, everybody who's listening to this knows me, I'm pretty sure, because I highly doubt that at this point people are gonna actually be listening to this who aren't people who directly know us. But although I have like a super low social energy, I like talking to people. The only thing is that, like, this is gonna sound super bad, but like I'm really picky about the people that I want to invest social energy into, which is why I'm like, I can't make friends with people, because I'm like, if I anticipate this conversation being like a boring conversation, like I know this is the sort of thing that you have to do in order to become friends with people, but I just get the feeling most of the time that it's like, oh, why are we even talking about this?
I hate small talk. I agree with you.
Yeah, and so like, it's like when you have to start by small talking to people, I don't know how to say this nicely. It's like super bad, like it's super bad, and it's something that I wish I could kick out of my brain, but like if I get the feeling that the way that they talk is like they don't have anything particularly unique to say, like I can't, which is so bad.
I feel so touched.
What?
That means you think I have something unique to say.
Oh, you mean the 10 years of friendship that we have currently had, like, don't point towards the fact that I think you have something interesting to say? But, like...
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, in the first place, like...
Right, yeah, so, like...
we've had friends that we have drifted apart from.
Yeah. So, but, like, even just, like, starting friendships, like, I don't think I can do it unless, like, the person doesn't come off as, like, what you see is the only thing here. Which is, like, usually that's how people come off, even if it's not true. But it's, like, I just have so little energy to pursue stuff like that. I should probably cut all this out, just in case people listen. And nobody who's listening to this, this probably doesn't apply to anybody who's listening to this. Because anyone who I, like, actually... Whatever, I'm gonna cut all that out. Okay. Anyway.
The thing is, okay, with meeting new people, I like meeting people, and I like interesting things. Like, I like learning about people, and that's why I went into psych. And learning about different unique experiences, and part of that might not just be the experience, but, like, perceptions around that experience. But the thing is, like, with people too, like, I want to hear and know people, but then it's not just easy, because I'm definitely one of those people who would give or take. Like, I want to hear about it, and I want to also be able to express my own experiences, whether I can relate to it or not, or, like, how I'm trying to understand it. I'm a verbal processor, where for me, like, part of why I love to write, or part of why I like people, especially people I can just call or talk to, and people I can be close to, why that's so important to me, is because I process and figure out emotions by verbalizing it, by writing it down, by having words. Because for me, it can get so abstract in my brain, and it's not necessarily the root of the problem, it's just like the symptoms. So, but if I have to put words to it and explain it to someone else, you're kind of labeling something in a sense. And the thing is, we have so many words in the language. Like, I could just say, I am sad. But that can mean so much. Like, that's a huge range, of a broad category in its own right. So, if I'm writing and if I'm speaking, I want to express myself as clearly as possible. So I'll try on other words, like I'm grumpy, or I'm disappointed, etc. And then, because we have very fine distinctions or nuances with each word you get into, with each layer you get into, so the more I write it down, or I verbally speak it out to someone, even though it'll feel like, or probably sound like I'm repeating myself, it's actually me also figuring out what is going on in my brain, and what can I do, and what's the reality of this, and how am I feeling, and then and once I know how I feel, or once I can say, this is the actual problem, this is why I'm upset, then I can actually do something about it. Like, here's a psych thing. Anger is a secondary emotion. It is definitely a component, like it's very much a real emotion, but anger is usually born out of something else, like hurt or disappointment. So I usually, for instance, try not to be angry. I usually try and skip ahead directly to figuring out, what am I actually feeling? And I'm trying to figure out how we got to this conversation from trying to meet people and friends and stuff. Oh, because I'm weird with people. So the thing is, I want people I can express myself to. I love deep conversations because it's a way to truly get to know someone. But the thing is, you have to be careful with those as well in some ways. You have to be so careful in a way with who you're vulnerable with, because people, you're hoping they will understand you, and that's why, or at least in my case, you're hoping they'll understand. Hence why I try to express myself so well. But the thing is, no matter how specifically you can try and express yourself, that doesn't mean the other person will necessarily understand it, because they come from their own worldview. They have their own perspective. They've had their own experiences, and they may not necessarily be able to match what you're saying with what they know. So, like, sorry, but I really just like communication, and this is why. Like, it's such an interesting and an intriguing thing to me. And friendships are like an opportunity to explore that. And that's why, again, friendships, I want it to be organic. I don't want to have to force your understanding to match mine. Like, I don't want to have to force things to work out. Like, I want it to happen naturally, where you're on the same wavelength. And there's not I have no issue with people who can't, like, if they're willing to, like, listen or try to understand. Like, it might take a bit more effort, but, like, there are always those people I think we click with better. And that's partially due to just, we can understand each other better. And that might be because we have this topic in common. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that either. It can just be the feelings and stuff. And wow, this got deep and philosophical.
I super don't want to interrupt you.
Did any of that make sense? Like, I just kind of went on a tangent, and it kind of flew into this deep thing.
Okay, like, I have a whole bunch of thoughts, but I don't know if I can keep them all in my head, and they all corresponded to, like, different parts of what you just said.
Tell me, because I want to sip my tea.
Okay, so thought number... Oh, geez, I already forgot one of them. Okay, so thought number 3, which is the last one that I thought of, is, like, can I, like, write some piano music to just, like, dramatic piano music to play underneath all that?
Yep.
Okay. Thought number 2 is, can I just tell the listeners that when you said all of the things where you say, I'm angry, no, I'm not angry, I'm, like, hurt, or, like, I'm desolate, or like that. Like, Janice is not being facetious when she says that she does that. Like, we've had text conversations where she gives me, like, 7 different adjectives, like, in a row, and, like, that narrows it down. So she does that.
Facetious?
Like, you're not, like, exaggerating. Like, you're being completely literal when you say...
Okay, listeners, sometimes I can be melodramatic, but that was a very genuine, like, conversation. Like, what I was saying, that's very much me.
Yeah, like text conversations or, like, Facebook message conversations with Janice is, like, it's kind of like a puzzle, where it's, like, each text is, like, a clue. It's, like, what is the deeper meaning of this thing? And she gets closer and closer to it.
But actually, that's my process. That's how I work. Like, Alana and I were dealing with earlier this week. I was very, very emotional. I'm a very emotional person, as a lot of people will say. So I was talking to Alana after this, and I was ranting about this thing. Or to me, it's ranting. But it was me honestly just trying to figure out and process how am I feeling once I got this piece of news, and what is this actual reaction. Because the first thought was like, I'm so mad, but it wasn't that. And I wasn't actually upset even with what I originally thought I was.
Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to say about that whole conversation is simply extroverted feeling paired with introverted sensing.
Oh, yeah, this is when Alana gets into the MBTI stuff.
It's like, I can't help it. It's just
No, I love it. Oh, and by the way, they're having an Enneagram workshop in Waterloo within the month. And I was thinking of going to it, and then I saw it costs like $85, and I was like, just kidding.
No, you gotta be really careful about, like, when people try to make money off of that stuff, because usually what they try to do is they feed you stuff that makes you feel good about yourself instead of actually being truthful.
Yep.
So, yeah, so another thing that recently you just said that made me think of that was, surprisingly, because Alana, that's me, I'm not a particularly emotional person, like 90% of the time, maybe more than that. But somehow I am able to, like, understand / comfort people sometimes, occasionally. And
Alana is a very, very good friend who has dealt with me and my emotional mess of a self several times.
Right, and so the reason that I think that Janice and I are relatively good at, like, understanding each other, even if we're like we're quite different in that respect, is, if I may just dive right back into the MBTI thing for 2 seconds.
Yep.
Okay, so we have what seems to be opposite personality types, because Janice is...
Do we actually? I'm pretty sure we do.
So Janice is...
ESFJ.
Yeah, so ESFJ. Alana is INTP.
Oh my gosh, we actually are opposites.
We are opposites, but it's not as opposite as you'd think. Because if you actually look at the functional types thing, and maybe I'll, like, do a whole, like, little podcast segment being, like, crash course in what you think you know about MBTI versus what is actually true about MBTI, because most people think they know stuff and then it's not true. Because most people's knowledge begins and ends with, like, that test that you take online and then never think about again. But the interesting thing about our types is that we have the same functions, we have the same cognitive functions, but we have them in the opposite order. So whereas Janice leads with extroverted feeling, and I'll talk about what that means in our MBTI podcast. So Janice leads with extroverted feeling, followed by introverted sensing, followed by extroverted intuition, followed by introverted thinking. Do you get all that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so FESINETI. Then Alana, which is me, my personality type is all those same functions but in the opposite order. So TI followed by NE, followed by SI, followed by FE. So basically what that means is that all the stuff that Janice is good at doing, like extroverted feeling, which is basically value-based judgments that are presented external to the body, external to the mind of the person, is like what I'm worst at, but it's still a function that I have.
Yeah.
This is not going to make any sense. Basically, it's kind of a good complementary pairing in some ways, okay, even though it doesn't seem like it should be.
So for the listeners, and also for me, so for instance, you know how I said I need to verbally process, and for me that's usually externally, like writing at least, which is me attempting to also manage to cope myself and not necessarily always need to, like, bother someone or rely on someone. For you, is it more like you're worse at talking about it, but you're doing the same thing inwardly, or?
It basically, well, it's the whole functional stack dynamics are a little bit confusing, because the way that I see it, it's an interplay between the FE and the SI for you. So for you, it's value-based judgments are external to you. So that's the FE component.
Okay.
So the FE is the judging function. So since you have a F as your judging function, right? That's in your code. That means that you prefer value-based versus valueless judgments. But mine's a T type, so mine is valueless judgment. So I prefer to think about things that don't have value. And by value, I mean, like, this is better than that, and that is worse than that. Oh. So like you're probably better at making judgments about that kind of thing, whereas I'm better at saying like this is this and that is that.
Okay. Yes.
If that
yes.
so that's so in terms
that makes sense.
So here's how Janice and I kind of complement each other, because whereas Janice, whenever she has like kind of, you know, emotional days like the other day, she's like, here's the problem, and like here's how I feel about it, and like here's how things are bad, and like things are, I don't know. I think that the way that I help is just by kind of saying, well, this is what this is, and just like here's the facts as clearly organized as I can present them, without providing a value to them, and that maybe helps you think about it better. And then the way that Janice helps me is when I'm like, I've got all these facts, but I don't know what to do. Janice is really good at helping me make decisions about things, like this is where you should prioritize this, because this is, you know, like better than this, or this is like more effective than this. Is like you can put it on a scale as opposed to just having like these things that are.
Can I give an example?
Sure.
Like a very fake example. Like, so Alana had to email her prof in order to figure out some stuff with scheduling. Yeah. And she was just like, okay, well, what do I say and stuff? Like, Alana knew she needed to do step A, like email the prof, in order to do step B, which is figure out scheduling and stuff, which was very important for her master's. Mm-hmm. But then she was just like a bit stuck on step A, especially with like, do I say this? Do I say that? And I was just like, look, you need to do this. And it's like Alana and I helped work together to come up with a draft idea, just basically of like, what are the main points to get across, because this is a very important thing, and we just wanted it to be something quick. And Alana was also worrying about something she had to tell her prof, but I was like, that can wait for a second email. Like, you need this first email to happen so you can get stuff done.
Basically, Janice is good at sorting stuff, and I'm good at unsorting stuff. Maybe. Yep. I don't know if that's a good way to say it. And then
that actually is a very good way, because I think my issue in part, again, of why I will repeat myself in order to try and find the best adjective or the best words, is because I'm trying to sort it. And the thing is, if it doesn't seem to quite fit, I'm like, okay, let's go back to sorting. And I'm so focused on categorizing things in a way, because that does help me to have a category. But if I can't figure out the category, then it's frustrating me.
So categorizing actually also fits into the introverted sensing part. I don't know if we want to get into that. This isn't, you know, MBTI bros, or that, you know, that second podcast that I'm going to start. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do another podcast. But another thing is that sorting information and seeking information is also something that Janice and I do differently. So that's interesting to talk about. But yeah. Anyway, is there anything else that we wanted to get into? This podcast is currently 1 hour and 12 minutes long.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Okay.
That's all for now, folks.
Should we have like a special sign-off? Well, should we just plug all of our social media? Yeah, I'll put in music, but should I just plug all our social media?
Sure. So, guys, as of right now, we don't have anything up on our social media because I need to go finish our logo. But we do have social media, and by the time you listen to this and we advertise it, hopefully it should be up.
Yeah, this is episode 2, so we'll definitely have stuff up before episode 1, which means stuff will definitely be up by now.
Okay, so at the time you are listening to this, there should be social media, and you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, as well as Facebook. All of them under the handle name Podditea. Podditea.
Good, because I was going to misspell it, so it's a good thing you did.
Dum dum dum.
Oh, that's awkward. Okay. Dude, we gotta come up with a good outro.
It's either that or I'm just going to start singing like Taylor Swift.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I'm
I'm gonna start the sentence over again. I'm like out of breath.